fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
The marble floors of the obsidian court were cold enough to burn. I felt it seeping through the thin soles of my punishment slippers, the chill crawling up my calves like a living thing as I knelt before the High Lord's dais. My hands trembled not from fear, though I had plenty of that, but from the remnants of the poison still coursing through my veins. The failed mission had left its marks. Elara of House Vera. The voice above me was a blade wrapped in velvet. You were entrusted with one task. Retrieve the Luminae star from the sunless temple. And yet I didn't need to look up to see the disdain twisting Cale Thorne's face. I'd memorized it over a dozen stolen glances in the banquet halls, the sharp lines of his jaw, the glacial blue of his eyes, the midnight hair that fell just so across his brow like an artist's afterthought. The High Lord's spymaster was as beautiful as he was cruel. The star was a decoy, I said, my throat raw from hours of vomiting alleyway gin, the only antidote to the temple's traps. The real one was never there. A silence followed, thick enough to choke on. Then came the sound of him rising, his boots clicking against the onyx steps as he descended toward me. His scent hit me first, bergamot and smoke, expensive and lethal. You failed your task. His shadow draped over me like a shroud. You brought shame to your family. A gloved finger hooked beneath my chin, forcing my gaze upward. His touch sent an unwelcome spark skittering down my spine. You put everything at risk. I swallowed, but worst of all, his thumb brushed the corner of my mouth, wiping away a fleck of dried blood there. His voice dropped to a whisper. You slightly inconvenienced me. The words shouldn't have stung. Not compared to the lashings, the scorn, the way my mother wouldn't meet my eyes at the tribunal. But something about the casual irritation in his tone, the implication that my suffering was a minor scheduling conflict, made my fists clench. Then he leaned closer, his lips grazing the shell of my ear. Lucky for you, I enjoy fixing messes. We left at dawn. Cale insisted on traveling light, no room for incompetence, which meant no horses, no attendants, just the two of us trekking through the blistering salt flats west of the capital. The real Luminae star, he claimed, was hidden in the belly of a volcanic temple guarded by ancient magic. You're quiet, he remarked on the third day as we camped beneath a crumbling sandstone arch. The firelight painted his face in hues of gold and rust, softening the edges of him. I'm tired, I lied. The truth was I couldn't stop staring at the way his shirt clung to his shoulders when he sweat, or the faint scar that curled above his collarbone like a question mark. You're a terrible liar. He tossed me a waterskin. Drink, you'll need your strength for tomorrow. Why? I eyed him warily. What happens tomorrow? He smiled, all teeth. We bleed. The temple was a jagged maw of obsidian, breathing heat and sulfur. Cale sliced his palm without flinching, pressing it to the blackened doors. Your turn. The cut burned. Our blood mingled on the stone, and the doors groaned open. Inside, the air shimmered with trapped magic, the walls pulsing like a heartbeat. Stay close, Cale ordered, his hand brushing the small of my back. The wards here are playful. Playful turned out to mean murderous. By the time we reached the inner sanctum, we were both bleeding from a dozen shallow cuts, our clothes singed and sticking to our skin. The Luminae star floated above an altar, its light fracturing into prismatic shards that danced along Cale's cheekbones as he reached for it. Stop, I grabbed his arm. Look. Beneath the star, nearly invisible, was a spiderweb of threads, an ensnarement spell. One wrong move and we'd be shredded. Cale exhaled slowly. You have good eyes, and you have a death wish. He turned to me, his gaze arresting. What's life without a little risk, Elara? The way he said my name like a secret, like a dare, made my pulse stutter. We survived the temple, barely, but the real danger came after. In the dead of night, as we camped in a hollow of rocks, Cale's hands found my waist. His mouth crashed against mine, fierce and hungry, and God's help me, I kissed him back. The world narrowed to the scrape of his teeth on my lower lip, the groan he muffled against my throat, the way his fingers knotted in my hair like he wanted to devour me whole. Then he froze, a dagger pressed to his throat, not mine. Shadows materialized around us, figures cloaked in smoke. Cale Thorne purred a voice from the dark. Or should I say Prince Calen of the Lost House D'Amour. Cale's grip on me tightened. Hidden identity, the truth struck me like a slap. The leader of the assassins smiled. The Spider King sends his regards. The last thing I saw was Cale shoving me behind him, his body a shield, as the night erupted in blood and screams.